Hey, it's Eric G from Around the House. Quick favor. If you're enjoying the show, the absolute best way you can support us is by leaving a quick review on your favorite podcast player. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you're listening to. It literally takes 30 seconds, and here's why it matters so much to us. Those reviews help new listeners discover the podcast. Tell the algorithms we're worth recommending, and give us the feedback we need to bring you even better episodes. More of the topics you love, and guests that actually move the needle for you. That helps us help you. It's as simple as that. So if the show's been useful, funny, or just made your day a little better, pop over right now, drop a star rating, and a couple of sentences. We'll be genuinely grateful. Thanks for being a part of the Around the House crew, and let's keep that conversation going.
Welcome to Around the House with Eric G, your go-to source for everything home improvement. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast or just looking to make your space shine, Eric G is here to guide you through the latest tips, tricks, and trends. So grab your toolbox, put on your thinking cap, and let's get to work right here on Around the House with Eric G.
Welcome to the Around the House show, your trusted source for everything about your home. I'm Eric G. Thanks for joining me today on this midweek update. This is that show we talk about where, well, we don't talk about the stuff that happened last weekend and the stuff that, we're going to talk about on the show this weekend. This is where we fill you in on the stuff that's happening out there. And there is so much going on in the world out there. We'll see if we can hit a lot of it here for you today. We'll get into some recalls a little bit later. That's getting a little more interesting. But right now, we're talking about home tech. And you know something? There is something that the FCC, the Federal Communications Division or Commission, they keep a thing called the covered list. This is gear that the government has decided poses an unacceptable national security risk. It used to be company specific. So it was kind of going after the Chinese companies or some of those over there, the Huawei, ZTE, and in the last 9 months, it's gone category wide. Drones went on in around Christmas time in December. Foreign-made consumer routers hit in March of 2026. And all those advanced robotic devices plus power inverters went in on late July. So this is interesting. So what this means is that new things of these, so new models come out, unless they're made here or they're made as the FCC wants it to be, you can't import them and you can't bring them into the country. So if you don't have that new equipment authorization, it's not coming to the U.S. So on March 23rd, the FCC added consumer-grade routers produced in foreign country to the covered list. So this was following a White House convened interagency determination on March 20th that foreign-produced routers pose supply chain and cybersecurity risks. Well, that's no shock. If they're leaving backdoors in there, they could hack into your system. Totally get it. So this was way broader than they originally were talking about. So this was earlier aimed at TP-Link, specifically over alleged China ties, which that's what it was. So produced is kind of the trap word in this. It applies if any major stage, manufacturing, assembly, design, or development happens abroad. So assembled in the USA doesn't just fix it. Right now, your router is fine. This update doesn't touch all the previously authorized models. And consumers, they can, you can keep anything you already bought, which is cool. So you got that. Now, foreign produced routers sold before the ban, keeping software, and the current firmware updates, you're going to be fine. So that's good. Now, here's where it's going to get in the way. The next gen stuff. So essentially, every Wi-Fi 7 router on the shelves today was made abroad. None are affected, but the new models, especially with the coming out of Wi-Fi 8, will need U.S. manufacturing or a case-by-case conditional approval that the manufacturers can apply through the Department of War or DHS. So this is interesting. I'm not telling you to go out and buy a router you don't need. But if yours is 7+ years old and stop getting the security updates, there's your risk. not the covered list. So I replace routers every few years. Now, here's the thing. It's no secret I use Comcast Xfinity. I have them on the show. There's a lot of people out there that have them. They're not an advertiser, but they are a friend of the show. So we work with them a lot. Now, they have come out with some great stuff out there. I use their routers because of their security. And they'll have to deal with this on their own of whoever's making their routers. But I do like, on the router side of things, to have it where my app runs it all. I don't have to have that. Do I have a mesh network beyond it? Absolutely. But that router is my gateway. That's what's coming in, and I can stop anything from there. And now with the new Xfinity program coming out here that we'll talk about this weekend a little bit, they will stop all that stuff at the router, which is really cool. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, a little hint, guys, go onto your Xfinity app and take a look. It changed yesterday. We'll talk about that this weekend. So anyway, that's the thing. So if you're using your own router and it's more than probably 3 or 4 years old, when you're streaming and things start buffering and things like that, it's probably the old router you got. So take a look at that. First thing I would do is get logged into it. Make sure you can log into it, restart it if you haven't done that in a while, and see what's happening. So let's go on to the next one here. That is the things to watch too here. That's the robot ban that just happened in July 27th. So this is an interesting one. So the definition is what sweeps in your vacuum. A device qualifies if it moves, navigates, or avoids obstacles on its own, operating remotely or responds to sensor data, weighs more than 4.4 pounds, including its dock, and has an environmental sensor, network connectivity at 200 kilobytes per second or faster, or software, including AI models, controlling its navigation, perception, or remote command and control. Well, guess what? That's a robot vacuum. But it's not just vacuums. The mops, the pool cleaners, the robotic lawnmowers are in the category too. So those are all things you got to be careful for out there. And here's the interesting thing. Nobody said the word China in this. They just used the word foreign produced. So if it's made in Korea or anywhere else, it's still on here. So it's interesting. So Shenzhen Pika Robotics bought 100% of iRobot in January 2026. But here's the thing. Ownership doesn't determine whether a given model is foreign produced under the FCC test. So no manufacturer has been named individually on this. It's just production status, which is where this gets confusing. So there are companies that are making a few of these in the US. But of course, iRobots had their financial issues. So here's the issue here. They also included power inverters. So that's the box tying the solar and battery storage into the house. So that's interesting. That is going to be interesting to see what happens. So here's the thing. Nothing in your house is going to stop working. Where your pain is coming from this is the next product cycle. We are not going to be getting the new stuff that the rest of the world will be getting because there will be fewer new model launches, and you're going to have manufacturers chase that conditional approval or move production to the US. So if you're looking at home gear for your remodel, check that model is already holding the FCC authorization before you write it into the plan. So next up, here's my question. What else are we going to see since we've got drones, routers, robots, and inverters in the last 9 months? Wonder what else is going to happen here. We've already kind of seen that there's no Chinese allowed, electric cars coming in here for the same reason. So I think my guess, if I was going to make a guess, guys, we're going to see security cameras be the next one. I think that's going to be the next thing that we're going to see, and we'll see if that happens. But that's the way we're going. I think security camera is going to be the next thing. So let's keep an eye out for that. This is going to get more interesting. Hey, it's Eric G from Around the House. If you're a painting contractor, you already know 2 ways you're losing money. Somebody wants a price to paint the living room, can't find one on your site, and calls the next guy. Or you drive across town to bid the job for somebody who was never going to hire you anyways. Price Clicker puts real pricing right on your website. Interior, exterior, cabinets, whatever you do. And no AI. No computer guessing at your margins. Your numbers, your rules. Same answer every time. Check them out at priceclicker.com. Well, shooting over to recalls here, let's take a look. Here's one thing I've noticed in the last few months on recalls. If you buy off-brand stuff, and I'm talking the pressure washer, all the stuff that you see on Amazon or some of these third-party online sites that look like copies of the real thing, we're seeing those show up heavily in the recalled list. So it's interesting here. So we've got, and some of these names are interesting. So Brookstone tabletop fire pit made by Southern Telecom. Really? Southern Telecom? Okay, so those are risk of serious burn injury or death from flame jetting and fire hazards. You got those through Brookstone, it looks like. About 48,000 of those. They look like a kind of little angled rock. Don't use those. For more information on that, head over to cpsc.gov. There's Sunnyside kerosene heater and appliance fuel containers are not labeled correctly. That's an easy one. The bottles do not meet U.S. standards, so there's only about 960 of those. Not a big deal. Here's a much bigger one. Hampton Bay Halloween 52-inch ceiling fans recalled due to impact and injury hazards. Here's the thing, guys. The blades can come off, and so they can separate. And these are a 3-wing, kind of a twisted wood looking blade. There's almost 10,000 of those out there. So that would be Home Depot. Take a look at that. That was on August 13th. Those can come off. That's a bad deal. They're a cool looking fan. So I'm sure they're pretty popular out there. Lots of knockoff or inexpensive recall dressers from Tip Hazards that aren't doing that. We're seeing all these things. Mattresses, Amazon mattresses that don't have mandatory flammability. Here's the thing. This is where I'm going with this, guys. I see so much of this. So much of this stuff that was sold online that doesn't meet our own online standards of what has to happen here in the U.S. They're getting sold, getting delivered, and then they're having to recall it. Here's a great example right here. Deli Jerry fuel containers. Deli Jerry? These names are so ridiculous. Recalled due to risk of serious injury or death from burn hazard and child poisoning. So this is a jerry can, really cheap jerry can, like World War II looking jerry can that holds your gas. It has none of the stupid gas stuff that you have to put on. So somebody found these out there, probably went, oh, cool, new gas cans that actually work. And, well, they've got those things recalled as well. There's only about 1,750 of those. And they just keep going of the crazy, dumb little things. Cool Uli. So this is a little tiny, like, fridge that you would put in the dorm room. Pink and white is the color they have here. They recall their 10-liter and 15-liter mini fridges due to fire and burn hazard. There's about 250,000 of these out there. So if your kids are going to school and you bought one of these things, be careful. Be careful. Don't use these. Stop using immediately and get a free replacement power cord. So here's the interesting part. Consumers that have the recalled mini fridges will be instructed to unplug the mini fridge, cut the power cord, and submit photos to Coolio showing the model and batch number of the fridge. And they're going to provide a replacement DC power cord and permanent sticker to cover the AC port. So it looks like that's going to go to a DC only when they're done with it, if you read that correctly. So be careful out there. All the kids you're sending off that have that cool little hipster fridge, that can be an issue. And again, Yamazuki recalls all-terrain youth vehicles due to serious injury or risk. Yeah, there's about 1,000 of those out there. Another one. So little problem for those things, crash hazards. And so there's a lot of these things out there. And the SUG, I can't even say this. It's so dumb on these names. SUGIFT. SUGIFT recalls pressure washers due to serious risk or injury or death from shock or electrocution because they didn't put a GFCI on it. So again, we're seeing so many of these things getting sold out there, and people are buying these knockoff units because they're cheap, and you're getting risky with that. So be careful out there, guys. These are things that we're seeing out there. Well, we got a great show coming up this weekend. I can't wait for you to check out. We're even going to have, I'm going to give you a little tease on this, a carpet that is self-cleaning. Think about that. That's pretty cool. New technology coming out this weekend on the Around the House show. All right, guys, we'll see you this weekend. Thanks for tuning into the show. We'll see you on Saturday. And if you want to find out more about us, head to aroundthehouseonline.com. I'm Eric G. You've been catching Around the House.
Thanks for tuning in to the Around the House show. Make sure you subscribe on your favorite way to catch podcasts. Also, be sure to subscribe to our new YouTube channel, and you can find it at Around the House HQ, and ring that bell for updates. Thanks for tuning in to Around the House.
Grab your bud. Take this good time and turn it up louder. No one ever talks about the nights they went to bed, counting them sheep, catching Z's, getting beauty rest. Acting your age don't make for good story. Knock one back, no buzz, no glory. No one ever talks about the shots they didn't take. Drinks.
Producer Jim here with a challenge. You've got a phone in your hand right now. I know you do. So open your podcast app, find Around the House with Eric G, and smash that 5-star review. Takes less time than picking out paint, and it helps homeowners everywhere find the show. If it's funny, we might even talk about it in the show. Rate it, review it, share it. Done? Great. Back to Eric.